I've been busy lately, plugging away at this dead language dictionary and the Elven culture, Elven philology, that sort of thing. Their alphabet, and it's been a while since I checked up on the Universal Elven Society. Most people think that elves is Tolkien stuff. It's really not. You dig a little intellectually a little bit deeper, you find out there's some stuff on the prose Edda and the Eddas. There's ancient mythology and poetry on the subject matter. They all think it's about the ears. For some reason, they all think it's about the pointed ears. That's not really true. The term elves in Britain was originally disseminated to them, the English, by the Germanic tribes coming over to Great Britain. And basically, it's just like the divine heroes of light. Once we get the term Leos Alfar. Research. All my days are devoted to research, digging the literature that I have to do. This thing's twisted. Oh well. Don't worry about that right now. Maybe this will help me think a little better. If I strum away on the old guitar. A little melancholy. I'll help the old brain cells. This thing's getting kind of dusty. I have to clean it up. It's just laying around. I should put it back in its case. No one knows what it's like to be the sad man, to be the bad man behind blue eyes. I'm not getting around like this with the strap twisted. I'm definitely going to have to clean this sucker up. Put in this case so I can find it somewhere and put it away. That helped me concentrate. It didn't do any good. I hate if I just lay this down. I want to break it. Oh. Here's the thing about we're delving backwards into the past. I've delved back 30 generations in my past as far as I can take it. They were long lived back then. Having lifespans of 160 to 200 years old the further back you go. And all the way back to my ancestor Ular, who was the illegitimate progeny of Freyr, envy of the Ingvanar tribe and his sister Freya. I started getting into the languages, the Germanic languages, which pointed the way toward migration route theory, where all the different tribes came together. One time along the Silk Road toward the caves of China, where they buried their dead. Basically, they were suffocating on sand. That's what was happening. They said, we're sick of this crap. We had enough of this. So they went back toward the northwest, and they spread out. And from there, you've got the different tribes of the elves and the Germanic tribes, like such as the Teutons, who were their allies and their kinsfolk. And well, yeah, that's how the basic story goes. And eventually, they came in as Elven Vikings and they immigrated. Let's see, to Frisia and into places like northern Scotland and into the Hebrides and eventually into Northern Ireland. Then you got your Elven language, which is I call Fabrini. Brini means the saltiness of the sea. It's like a bit of Frisian, Dutch, Germanic. I would call it that, maybe a hodgepodge. Kind of like Germanic Esperanto in order to understand each other. And the language finally settled in southern Scotland before it absolutely finally vanished and disappeared because there's no need for it. In fact, there's a conflict on the border with the English, which nearly did them in. So they had to backtrack toward the Hebrides and migrate toward Ireland in the north. Right now, I'm kind of studying the islands around Great Britain, such as Ireland and Holyhead and White Island. It's spelled W-I-G-H-T. It's like the barrow whites, the spooks. Just sitting around waiting for July to come along, That's the next big holiday. Fireworks day. You get to sit in here and hear a pop, pop, pop outside and watch the fireworks on television. Meanwhile, I'm still plugging away at my studies. Oh, I got a vast vocabulary of that language. It's like going to be like 4,000 or 5,000, maybe 6,000 words. You have no idea how tedious that kind of work can be. When you all get on taken care of into your physical hard copy, your composition notebooks, it's time. Go down this list, manually transcribe it onto the computer, which finally I have gotten rid of all the bugs out of it because I didn't want it crashing again. It's crashed for the third time. I just barely got it all scrubbed up and all the crap off of it. Beware of dangerous fake websites. All it glitters is not gold. Anyway, there's a lot to it, if you can actually speak the language. And it sounds like a very Germanic flavor to it. It makes your Old English and Germanic. That's the best way I can describe it because I haven't started building phrases out of it yet, due to the fact that there's so much work to be done. Probably I'll be working on it for the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, it's got its rewards. Finding you accomplish it, okay, now that I've got it in this format, I got it finally transcribed to the computer. I can add a few more chapters to the book, and then I got to look for a literary agent. Trust me, you don't want to go the other route. Self-publishing's for the birds, man. It is really a downer. We got 2 books published with self-publishing so far. I don't like it. They didn't do very well. So the thing is, if you really want to get into the writing biz, you've got to search out the literary agents. Even if it takes you a long time, you got to do it. And it's not as simple as they say it is. It's just not. Don't get frustrated if somebody else's method doesn't work. You've got to find your own method of searching out the information from the internet. That's how most people do these things. And some people, they do have, they take submissions in a form of hard copy. Not very many, but some of them do. I prefer just to email it to them, to tell you the truth. A lot less trouble. I haven't had trouble with my printer lately. Deja vu. Yeah, it happens quite a bit. But anyway, I keep busy. I'm puttering around. I think the best thing to do is keep collecting information on ancient medievalism and the Germanic tribes, because that is really what the Elves are. The elves are really about in reality as far as mythology and ancient history is concerned. Of course, if you are one of those people who like to go out and talking it up, get all gussied up, wear pointed ears, and get in that weird mystical hoodoo that is involved with ancient pagan culture, that's okay too. I'm not into that anymore. The glamour sort of wore off on that. I got tired of it. I don't really want to go down those paths. Sometimes these are dark paths, and I prefer to worship the Judeo-Christian God, even though there are Aryan forms of him in the past. I just stick with Christianity, even though it's flawed, like you wouldn't believe. I'm going to write a book on that someday. All the flaws need to be corrected in the Christian Bible. Believe me, it's a long overdue project. But mainly I'm working on the Germanic dead language of Farini, the language of the Aesir elves. In case you've been wondering what I've been doing this whole time, holed up in my apartment, I'm just taking down words and in my hard copy of my composition notebook, waiting for the day when it's finally finished, I can start typing it into my laptop. Also, I'll be saving up my money, go to my expense account and seeing how I can buy myself a new CPU for my desktop. That'll speed things up quite a bit. This is basically the progress report on my research. If you don't get out once in a while into the sunshine every now and then, you go a little nutty. So that's basically what I've been working on. I've been plugging away at it. This has been the Elven Project Progress Report with your host, Paul D. Fraley. Elven name, Gaivornin Fingolfin of the Royal Elven House of Yngvi, of the Elven tribes of Ingvanar, and of the Lords of Morea. Etc., infinitum. I don't get into all that. Feels like I'm just boost my ego. A lot of people who do that are stuffed shirts, they're that important. With me, it's just something I was born into. I have this ancient Germanic heritage. What do I do with it? I'm royalty on both sides of my family. What can you do? Anyway, this has been the Progress Report. Here's looking at you, kid.